So it seems to be that F1 in school car tutorials are now either severely out of date, or the ones that aren't out of date have questionable designs. So I'm going to be going through with you today on how to make a good F1 in schools car. I'm Alistair, I'm the design engineer of Nightingale, and let's get started. So this is going to be a relatively advanced tutorial, as we are going to start looking towards on what makes a good professional class F1 in schools car. So I'm going to be expecting that you, the viewer, already know a bit about CAD and how to do the Fusion kind of basic tools such as Sketch, Extrude, and the Construct tool. And so I'll be skipping over the majority of that and highlighting the key areas of what makes a good F1 in schools professional class car. So to start off, we can get the halo. It's a downloadable component from the F1 in Schools HQ website. I'll put the link below. And what you can do, you can move it around, and you have to make sure that the circular notch is 34 millimeters off the ground, with a plus or minus 1 millimeter for tolerance. This is just to ensure that it can be caught by the rope at the end of the track. You can move the halo around with the circular notch as being the anchor point by clicking the move tool and then hovering over the face that's in the center section of the halo. Just look on the screen, and if you see the dot being roughly around about the midpoint of the circle, you can just click it and start moving around. And then if you start tilting and kind of angling the halo, that should be the anchor point of which it turns at. So from there you can now see that the halo circular notch is 34 millimeters off the ground. So now that we've done that, we can start to build around the gas canister. And so to do this, we know that the minimum height of a gas canister is going to be 30 mil. So instead, we're going to be doing 30.5 millimeters for tolerance. And that right there was my first mistake. You see, when I end up creating the CO2 chamber later on in the tutorial, I realized that the minimum thickness is actually 2.95, which is illegal. So to change this, make sure that instead of using 24 millimeters, use 25 millimeters. And the reason why you're not going to do 24.1 is because between the first two sketches you do, the loft will actually concave inside of itself, which isn't great, and that will intersect with the CO2 chamber. After the first circle, you then sketch the second circle, that is 53 millimeters away from the first circle, your normal bread and butter stuff. But what's after this is then joining the halo. So there are many ways you can blend the halo to the back of a car, and one of those is the sketch and extrude. However, it's not a great way to do it, and the reason why is because the sharp edges after the sketch could then disrupt the boundary layer, and it creates all sorts of aerodynamic hazards. So what we're looking for is a nice smooth connection from the back of a halo to the CO2 gas canister, and one of the tools that does this is the loft tool, which we'll look at right now. But before we can actually do the loft, we need to first set up the back of a halo with a nice sketch, because at the moment the back of a halo has a flat edge that isn't very nice to loft to. So to do this, we're just going to create a nice box around the halo, then fillet off the bottom two edges. After you filleted off the bottom two edges, you can then actually drag down the line to increase the area of the shape, and you want this to be roughly a tangent to the bottom section of the CO2 gas canister circle, and this is going to be the very bottom of our car. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and click loft and select those three different shapes. Now this is a successful loft, however with the halo being so far back, the loft is struggling to get to the back of the car without creating this really big curve, and this really big curve is creating a lot of frontal surface area, which we don't want. So to do this, we're going to move the halo forward a couple more millimeters, and this should decrease the surface area, the frontal surface area of the car when we do the loft. And just like that, we have a much nicer connection from the back of the halo to the back of the car with a very low frontal surface area thanks to the loft. So now that we've done that, we can actually start to look into the side profile of the car. We can start to kind of sketch out where the wheels are going to go, the different reference plane B, reference plane A, see what the wheelbase is going to be like. At the moment, I'm just going to be using 31 millimeters from the front and the back for reference plane A and reference plane B, and for the wheelbase, I'll be doing 130, as that's somewhere around the middle. Through your testing, you'll be able to work out kind of what the best wheelbase is, and but Just for this car, I'll be using a wheelbase of 130. Another good thing to mention is that the minimum wheel diameter is 28mm. However, for an additional tolerance, you want to put 28.1 to allow for additive inconsistencies. So that just leaves a bit of extra room to make sure that you get full marks on your scrutineering. Then after doing this, you can then extrude them out from the center. You can use the extrusion tool, the normal bread and butter stuff, and you can extrude by two sides. The minimum gap for the rear wheels is 30mm, so you have to make sure that you have to extrude it by a minimum of 15, and then extrude it once again on the other side to ensure that there's a minimum gap being left. The regulations state that the front wheel has to be 13mm, so again adding tolerance 13.1, and the rear wheel needs to be 18mm, once again for additional tolerance 18.1mm. And just like that, you have finished the first part of the CAD tutorial. You should have something that looks something a bit like what I'm showing you on my screen right now. If not, that's absolutely fine, and hopefully I will see you in the next tutorial.